My name is Victoria Shepherd, and I work for the AVLA. We represent producers and rights holders, and we do our best to make sure that their work is monetized when other people use it. I've spent my entire professional career working for the music industry. I'm horrified, I'm heartbroken by the number of jobs that have been lost, by the number of my colleagues who don't have jobs anymore, by the number of artists who don't have recording deals, who can't make their living doing what they love. You're going to receive a great deal of opposition to reform from people who don't want to pay for music. Supposedly reform will inhibit innovation, restrict consumer choice, invade privacy, and erode creativity. There's no evidence to support this. We do, however, have evidence of the decline of the sales of music, of the number of jobs that have been lost, of the number of artists who can't support themselves, and of the reduced contribution the music industry now makes to the GDP. The Canadian government spent millions of dollars bailing out the auto industry. The intellectual property sector is not asking for a bailout. We're asking that our laws be brought up to date with those in the rest of the developed world. We're asking that rights holders have the choice to determine whether their property is monetized or whether it's not. Reforming our Copyright Act so that it's in line with international trading partners will result in new international investment in our culture, in technology, the creation of jobs, the creation of wonderful new cultural music from artists, and the increased contribution to our GDP. Thank you.
Thank you. 103, 120. There we are.
Hi. My name is Alexis Chubb, and I work in the music industry, and both my parents work as a playwright and as a story editor, so they work in intellectual property as well. So it's not just about music, it's about theater, it's about writing, it's about anything that's available that can be traded. In the absence of modern copyright rules, file sharing has undermined the ability of creators and creating industries to earn a living. So many new and up-and-coming artists need to have jobs to support their music making or their writing or their filmmaking or any of the artists and cultural things that are so important in Canada to who we think we are. So that it has to become a hobby that they do outside of their regular working hours. So if you're working an 8-hour day job, you only have 4 or 5 hours after hours to work on your music or your writing or anything else that's important and that helps us identify who we are as Canadians. WIPO was 10 years ago, and we signed that agreement, and we haven't ratified it, and it's been tried and true in Europe, and how much longer do we have to wait for something in Canada to bring us up to par? Thank you.
Thank you. All right. No? So we have a frozen screen on the web, so we will go to 72 or 21, 27. All right. We may. Yes, we have someone making her way to the microphone. If I might have your number, please, so that we can just call it out. 21, thank you.
My name is Janice Nixon, and I'm from Universal Music Canada. Let me start by saying that I love music. I give thanks to every artist that has ever written a song that has made its way into being the inspiration and the soundtrack to my life. I work for Universal Music Canada, and I've been there for 9 years. I love what I do. My colleagues and I are driven to build artist careers, and each and every one of us absolutely loves music. As a member of the electorate, a taxpayer, and as a Canadian, I truly believe that the rights of songwriters, entertainers, and music companies must be protected. I've also seen how piracy in Canada and ill-begotten copyright laws have destroyed artist careers and individual livelihoods. I've watched too many of my esteemed colleagues who have bills to pay and families to support lose their jobs as the Canadian music industry impacted by file sharing, P2P, and BitTorrent sites declines. Look, I can't play a note. I couldn't write a song to save my life. But I get great pleasure in listening to and appreciating music created by someone else. These creators deserve to have their work protected by modern copyright laws if they choose. These creators deserve to be fairly compensated by me, by each and every one of you in this room and watching online. Please, I implore you to update our copyright laws. Let's be fair and be just. Let's ensure we're building a solid base so that my colleagues and every artist, musician, songwriter, software architect, filmmaker, video game developer can continue to produce greatness within our country and be fairly compensated for it. I ask this of each and every one of you in this room, not because I can, because it's right.
Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Jonathan Dry. I'm a mechanical designer from Mississauga. I don't work in the entertainment industry. So, I believe we are in this situation because of eternal copyright laws. I'll start and say that copyright is meant to foster a broad and diverse culture of creation and derivative works in a country. And we don't have that now. In the past, the eternal copyright laws have created a vacuum. They've pulled away the culture of the people from the general populace. I grew up in the 1990s. That was how it was then. In its place was placed a load of mass-produced rubbish music. You could turn on the TV anytime. It's pretty much the same nowadays. And this damages the youth. It takes away a formative decade, their teenage years, instead of creating a culture of production and of personal achievement. We're given self-destructive teenage rebellion. Now, if we're going to get rid of this, the problem with it is we've put all the power to create culture into the hands of a few corporations through eternal copyright. They just buy it up, and that's the end of it. If we're going to reform the system, 3 minutes. Okay. As far as the public domain goes, we need shorter copyright terms. Thank you. Okay, as far as the public domain goes, we need shorter copyright terms. This book is published in Mississauga, Ontario. It's by Robert E. Howard. His work is falling into the public domain. He's most known as the creator of Conan the Barbarian. If you like books with screaming barbarians and monsters, great stuff. There's a publishing boom going on in this work right now. Del Rey is publishing his stuff with annotations, scholarship, letters, all sorts of other stuff, because everything else, the original stories, are now in the public domain. And guys like these guys in Mississauga are publishing it. It's being driven by the entrance of his work into the public domain. What we need is shorter copyright terms. This is going to drive innovation. Canada could attract a large number of publishers and artists from all over the world if we reduce copyright terms. We are sitting on a gold mine, people, that's being withheld from the general public by a small amount of copyright holders. If we were to loosen that up, there would be a cultural explosion and an industrial explosion in that industry. And I would ask the Conservative government to go back to your entrepreneurial roots. We have a small publisher in Mississauga making money from the public domain. It's also driving big ones in the States. No interruptions, please. Okay? We need to go back and see allow these entrepreneurial companies, these small startups, to grow big, to exist, because right now they can't. They are having their culture withheld, their music, their art, their books from the general public. Thank you.
Thank you.